Welcome back to the pod, people. What's up? I quit smoking weed, and I'm taking an online course in Japanese. I'm Jen.
Sold my Xbox to Jimmy down the street. I even quit smoking weed.
Catch me on twitch.tv, dressed as Gerard Way. I'm Kim.
And who are you?
Gerard Way.
And who's beside you, Gerard?
Ray Toro.
I am beside Gerard Way.
And yeah, we're back for another episode with our first real guest of the pod, my friend Connor.
Here I am. I don't know how to say this. The only thing I know is that my name is Connor.
There it is. Connor is a very dear friend of mine, and I'm so excited to have him on the pod. A fellow emo.
It's true.
More on the realm of like the indie emo, I would say. Would you argue that?
No, like fully like two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and
Yeah.
it happens.
You know, he is a say anything kind of guy.
Yeah,
you know, Max Bemis up in this bitch. He is a fucking Bright Eyes guy. Okay.
Feels like
We're gonna get
we'll
into
get
this. But just to put you a perspective of like what he was into, and then like he graduated to like Midwestern emo like me. Sorry, why is he here? That's probably what you're fucking asking right now. We're talking about When We Were Young Fest.
Yes.
We have someone to tell the tale.
I am so excited to be the podcast official When We Were Young correspondent. I drove by my childhood home listening to Armor for Sleep today to get emotionally ready.
That's my jam.
Like, this is the episode, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We got some highlights that happened. Both MCR and All American Rejects wearing their old people makeup. Connor, did you get to see any of that happening?
Saw all of the old people makeup.
Love that.
All
Was
of it?
very concerned because I didn't know that All American Rejects was going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And just was like, wow, the years have been tough.
Why would you assume any other band but MCR is going to dress up?
Like that, yeah.
So that must have been surreal.
It was a little unhinged. I was really worried. And then it wasn't until I saw MCR come on stage that I was like, oh, they were doing a bit. They're not okay.
Right.
Got it.
They're not just looking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when's the last time you even heard that All American Rejects were on tour? It's been a second.
It's been a minute.
I haven't
No, I have
seen
no
an
clue.
All American Rejects music video. And where are you guys? Is everything okay?
I mean, in Vegas.
In Vegas.
In Vegas,
where all the emo strived for one weekend, except on Saturday.
Except on Saturday. It was
You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, I feel like if you're listening to this fucking show, you probably know. When We Were Young, day one was canceled to, and I quote, high winds. To clarify, there were actual real life sandstorms. If you've never been in one, they're great. Taste delicious. Hurt your legs. So the festival people, owners, facilitators, I don't know their title.
Yeah.
Those guys made a decision to...
Well...
It was sort of their decision. It was, I mean, the city sort of was enforcing it.
I was going to say.
The National Weather Service was like, this wind
Could kill someone.
She ain't gonna stop. And it's like when you have giant, several hundred pound speakers like dangling above a few hundred tightly packed people, like I understand. It was definitely a real safety thing. I think they were like sort of holding out.
I understand from their perspective, and that's probably the wrong perspective.
It was the inaugural When We Were Young. So I definitely understand that there was some reluctance to cancel, but they really waited until like the 11th hour. And then it was canceled, and then the strip was overtaken by like some 60,000 really upset, really just already emotionally fragile people.
What would you have done in this situation? You traveled to Vegas. The event that is happening is no longer happening.
Probably the first hour or 2 hours, I'd probably just, be in disbelief, honestly. But I think I would try to make the best out of the night, considering there was so many things going on that night. But I mean, we'll get to that later. But
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of fun stuff
I mean,
going on.
and like the bands did rally to do some stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't catch any of those shows. I felt like let me not take up the space of someone who paid a lot of money to be here and now can't
How
do the thing.
How kind of you. That is honestly, like, you were like, let me not take an extra dip.
I'm getting
Because the way I would have milked this situation.
I'm gonna go
I
to
was
the
on that.
fucking Rainforest Cafe.
You did not go to Denny's.
I didn't go to Denny's.
You
Wow.
moron.
Yeah, but it's just no.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to the Rainforest Cafe.
Listeners of the pod, Connor has been on a Rainforest Cafe. This isn't emo talk. This is just, I want to paint a picture of who is sitting next to me right now.
A grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man, still wearing a skater hat.
Still.
Looks just how you imagine the Wonder Years. If I close my eyes, this is a Wonder Years fan, and Connor isn't really even that
That's
much
so
of a
on
Wonder
point.
Years.
Yeah. They're like the Wonder Years. It's like that's my sister's boyfriend. boyfriend kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate them.
Yeah.
But, like,
It's
I'm
my
not going to
thing.
hang out with them alone.
Yeah.
You know?
You're not
Unless
going...
we're, like, planning a thing for you, I guess.
Yes.
But that
was
remember when
fun.
we saw The Wonder Years and then a pandemic happened?
This is also true.
Happy birthday, you.
I turned, Jesus Christ, at 26.
You turned 26. At this show, we fully had a plan of, you know what, we're going to go to 2 shows a month for the rest of the year. I'll pick one, you pick one. We'll have a lot of overlap, but it'll be good. It'll expand both of our horizons.
Yep.
And then literally
I would have gone to a Pine Grove show.
The next, still waiting, bitch.
Oh.
The next month, pandemic.
Literally.
Live music canceled. Joy canceled. Like,
You all lived it. You know how these things work.
so sorry, because this
Somehow it's
feels
my fault?
like...
In the
Oh,
Wonder
absolutely.
Years?
The universe just shitting on you. Like, you know, the best laid plans of Con and Jen, like,
Yeah.
often go awry.
Damn.
That's what set it off. I believe it.
Check out the new Wonder Years album.
Yeah.
Out now. Anyway, back to when we were young.
So it was a very busy itinerary.
Yeah.
There were an inconceivable number of bands playing at this show where it was just such a tightly packed day of, like, there really wasn't enough downtime. And I mean, I have to say to the organizers, that's the word I was looking for before, the organizers, ran like clockwork. There wasn't a band that went over. There wasn't a band that started more than, like, a minute late, tops, at least of the sets that I caught. It was really well organized. The way the stages were laid out, there wasn't a lot of interference, like, sort of sound across different sets. The way they had the 2 main stages set up helped with those transitions. I mean, this was a chance to reclaim, like, a lot.
Get like a sampler. That's what it truly was. Just like, here's a sample of what you missed out on.
The saddest buffet.
The saddest
that I've
buffet in Las
ever-
Vegas. That's
Which
our song.
I cannot
that's our
think
new band
of,
name.
of, like,
Fucking
a
saddest
more
buffet.
appropriate location than just, like, sad adult Epcot.
Yeah.
Which is Vegas.
That is Vegas. Can confirm. There was a lot of standout fucking acts throughout the night. We'll touch on a few of them, but I think one of the most powerful ones was Hayley Williams' speech.
Oh
that
my
happened.
God. It was...
You were there for that.
It was so incredible.
Yeah. Connor had a very good idea of having us listen to Hayley's speech in real time and getting some reactions. I think me and Kim have heard it before, but
I'll listen to it again. I don't care. You know, it was a good speech.
For their decision to everyone out there, but I want to say that it means a lot that the festival is looking out for all of our safety. That was a tough decision to make. And I'm just glad that we're here together tonight. Thank you for being here. Tonight we're celebrating emo, right? This is the emo fest. This is the place to be. This genre is made up of a lot of different genres. And I'll spare you the history lesson. No, I won't. Why would I do that? This started in the mid-'80s as something that had vision, and it was started by some dudes that thought that punk rock should make more space for alternative people inside of alternative music. And I think that it started off pretty well. You had Minor Threat, you had Fugazi, you had a lot of that shit in Revelation Summer. But we got lost along the way. And in the early 2000s, when Paramore came onto the scene, roughly about 2005,
The moment you feel...
the scene
I'm sorry, when
was not always a safe place to be if you were different. If you were a young woman, if you were a person of color, if you were queer.
always invited to the fucking cookout, Hayley. Always.
And that's really fucked up if you think about it. Because this was supposed to be the safe place, wasn't it? So, we've been around for almost 20 years, and I've had my fill of letting older people, especially older men, tell me what punk rock is. And tell me what punk rock is not. Just today, there was a crusty old fuck on the internet
I love her.
Yeah, you've probably seen him. Saying that punk was supposed to be anti-establishment, right? Well, it is. And actually, I can think of nothing more anti-establishment than young women, than people of color, and the queer community.
Yeah.
That was me.
So what I want to say
was
to
me.
you,
He said, "Yeah."
one of those people in those subsets, there is space for you here now. Did you hear me? There's space for you now. And we love you, and we love being a part of this
I think
scene.
some girl said I'm in the middle of history right now. I just heard it all.
And we're going to keep doing whatever we
really
can do
are.
alongside our friends and our peers in this scene
That was
to
a
make it feel
fucking
safe for every
amazing
single one of you
Yeah,
out there.
like I get emotional like,
Because
just
it does
listening
not
to it
feel
from
good
here. Like
to
if I
feel
was there,
unwelcome.
Can I ask,
It does
who
not
was
feel
the
good
guy
to
she
be
was
talked
referring
down
to,
to.
though? I didn't look into, like, she said
So
some
if you're
crusty
here tonight,
punk on the
thank you.
internet.
Thanks for watching us.
I found like multiple comments
We
on
all
Twitter
survived
timed
a lot to
roughly
get to this
before
night.
that were just sort of
So,
I don't know. She's
that
pretty
being
finished.
said,
She's just segueing
we're going to
into
play something from our
Emergency
first
now.
record.
Is it emergency?
Me screaming because I'm like, 2005,
So all you
what a year.
crusty
What a year.
motherfuckers, make room, baby!
she's amazing.
Fucking the moment.
Yeah, that's our girl. That's our fucking girl.
The way there's like
So
a fuck,
incredible.
like all of us are kind of welling up.
yeah, I was like trying to hold back a little bit. I'm like, let me calm down.
No, I really genuinely started to cry when she was talking because it is so true. To circle back to the, I had checked Twitter sort of immediately after that statement, like, who the fuck spoke ill of my queen? And in general, there was a lot of sort of treating when we were young as a joke or as if
Yeah.
it were satire, and like, this isn't punk, this is, I mean, and there are some
it's
truthful
like that-
elements to that there.
Yeah.
During the All American Reject set, he had said something to the effect of, this is, you just got tickets to the most commercialized event in the history of the scene. And that is true.
Yeah.
But, like, here's the truth about punk, is that it's not just, like, the point of punk isn't to be contrarian.
Yeah.
Isn't to just be, like, a perennial fucking devil's advocate. Like, that's not the point of it. If the values of punk are becoming mainstream, that's a fucking good thing. That's a powerful thing.
Yeah. It means we're winning a fight.
And like that, like, it is becoming popular to look at these structures and systems of oppression and say, like, well, fuck that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, that means we're winning, you assholes.
100%.
And I'm sorry that, like, you no longer feel accommodated by the fact that we're not going to tolerate having less. And fuck you
Beautifully
guys.
said.
And fuck them.
That was beautiful, and I think that makes a lot more sense because, like, as you were saying this, I'm thinking of it was just so much bitterness on the internet during. Like, I'm sure you were also checking Kim. First day happened, I felt a little smug about it. I'm so glad I'm not there. Ha ha ha. And then Sunday happened, and I'm getting
Sunday was awesome.
You are texting me. You are ecstatic, and I'm just like, fuck. They pulled it off.
Yeah.
I have FOMO, but the way people were still just like,
Yeah, I saw,
well,
like,
Riot Fest or
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Like,
I
you
saw-
guys are playing, just like belittling just what this music means to so many people.
Like, I saw people that don't even go to shows, and they're like, oh, I knew it. I'm like, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like,
What did you know?
what did you know? Like, you knew that a windstorm was going to happen,
Yeah.
like, a couple hours before the show?
And again, like, I'm sorry, like, Jake from the East Coast.
Yup.
Like, bro, you've never been in a sandstorm.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven through a sandstorm? Because I have now, and that shit is terrifying.
I love all the people that just, first off, they're like, oh, back in the day was so much better. And it's like, no, it wasn't. Like,
Not really. Not for everybody.
No. Full stop.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're not willing to accept the fact that, like, this music exists
Yeah.
as a refuge for people of color, for women, for queer and trans people, because it gave us space to, like, have our feelings somewhere when we were so consumed with protecting the parts of our identity that were, like, actively hated again, then, like, then you missed the fucking point, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You missed the point.
I hate that I'm bringing back like Woodstock 99 vibes. It's
ahead,
like
do
it
it,
just
yeah.
feels like that's what they're trying to fight for, and it's like,
Yeah,
in what
it
world
is.
do we want this back? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't. I never want to be at a Woodstock 99. I might be obsessed with it as a story. Never want to be
Yeah.
at Woodstock 99.
Exactly.
No.
Don't need to.
Never.
And I think people just really romanticize that kind of absurdity. And again, is that punk? I guess so. I look at that
In
and
a
say,
way,
like,
but,
I'm like, yeah, because it should be a very fucking isolated incident and whatever. We're off the track now, but like,
gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
happen.
That's what this is.
So Hayley Williams, emotional fucking roller coaster, hitting every.
I mean, the whole set
Yeah.
was.
Well, what does it feel like being a part of
incredible.
history, as part of our history? Because I will be writing a book on this.
Literally, I mean, there was definitely a real sense of it. I have to tell on myself. I'm not someone who's like good at following historically, like what songs bands have played when. It went completely over my head that this was the first time All I Wanted was performed live. My friend Jill was with me, and we were like pretty deep into the crowd. By that time, I really felt bad for the other bands that they had sort of lined up in the same time slots as Paramore and MCR, because it was like, oh, you guys, no, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. There were some various clusters of like Gen Z youth.
Yeah.
And we can unpack why they were there at some point.
Yeah.
But these girls were fully weeping, and I was like, this is an experience, but this does feel like a lot. And then in like the aftermath of it, I was, because I'm just a terminally online person, and so I was like reading reviews of the event that I had just attended on the internet, like a psychotic person, and it was like, Hayley Williams and Paramore play All I Wanted was the first time she hit the E5.
It was a historical moment.
And then I was like, oh, that's why they were like
full on
fully,
sobbing,
like
yeah.
Irish keening, like
Oh my
wailing
God.
in pain.
Same.
And, like,
Yeah.
same though. And then in like I was like, oh, I get it. And then I cried.
And then I cried
It's
after.
like,
yeah.
wow.
I feel that.
I mean, it was a transcendent set though. Like the hits, some oldie. It was incredible though.
Yeah.
It was historic. I went to the first When We Were Young Fest.
yeah.
Life literally,
And literally, even though I had tickets for the second day, I was at the first one.
It's just so funny to me because God just gave you a little like, hey, you're first.
More like it. But
He said, you've been through enough. You've been a
I
good
know,
boy.
you've had a life.
It's so funny because no matter what you say, it's like, yeah, Woodstock for what? Like, you were at the emo Woodstock. I guess that's fair because I think there is a lot of like TikToks out about like why people didn't like the festivals.
Yeah.
Kim wrote a note down about chain wallets not being allowed.
Yeah. No chain wallets. Apparently no stuffed animals either.
No stuffed
which
animals.
Is the thing, but
I don't
Which
know
is
why.
insane because someone fully had a stuffed Dobby the house elf.
Oh, how'd they get
How
that in
did-
there?
I have no idea. Let me just take time to say fuck that transphobe on mic, but like Dobby is cool. But still,
Yeah.
it was a whole thing. They came out during the Bring Me the Horizon set. And they were,
You didn't really have like the signs like we saw at Firefly, right? Pod, if you didn't know, Connor and I went to Firefly together now 1 year ago? 1 year ago. And
Yeah.
it was your first festival.
it was my first festival,
Yes.
so I was definitely a bit more prepared
Yeah.
for this festival.
Yeah.
That is one thing I will say about this festival is that there were a lot of people who were not prepared.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of that online.
I have not.
Yeah,
What- yeah.
They were like complaining, like, oh, like all these bands, like I guess the stages,
Yeah.
bands playing at the same time. I'm like, have you ever been to a festival? Like, did you not know? So I saw people complaining about
that and just like general conduct and behavior.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
I
again,
have a lot of
because
feelings
of
about
this sort
this.
of like
Yeah.
cross-generational appeal of a lot of these artists, which is
Yeah.
like an incredible thing that like the emotionality of this shit is this sort of timeless thing in a way that I don't think music often gets to be anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like of the moment, you know, charting for a week and then disappearing into the ether until a new album drops. But there's some permanence
Mm-hmm.
with the genre of music that we fucking love. But like there was some kids who just did not know how to be in a giant crowd of people.
I saw a lot of people like our age like saying something about concert etiquette too, and how a lot
Yeah.
of the younger people don't know. So I figured
Yeah.
I'd ask you about like your experience about the whole concert etiquette thing with the younger people at the festival. So let me know.
You know, like there are just like unspoken. I mean, because second festival, but like I go to a lot of
You
shows.
go to a lot of
Right.
shows and
Like there's like a like
transferable skills.
yeah, like you're not holding a spot,
Yeah.
sweetie. That's not how this works.
Your friends are not
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
They're
Yeah.
not getting up. But there was a lot of that. There was a
Yeah.
lot of at different times like artists would break and they would talk a little bit and people would shout like play the music. It's like no, like
no way.
because the important thing to think about too with this is like this wasn't just for us.
Yeah.
Like, for the first time in how many years, all of these, this is their high school
Yeah,
reunion.
Right.
also.
Literally. They didn't have Warped Tour. Like, this is...
Like,
Yeah.
they
This
grew
is it.
up together,
Yeah.
these bands. Like, Haley came on the scene when she was, what, like 18?
Yeah.
Like,
Something like that.
has grown up alongside
Yeah.
MCR, has grown up alongside all of these other acts. When We Were Young is also them.
Yeah.
Which was the joke.
Yeah.
Of, like...
Shut up and play. Like, what do you mean? You're literally in front of history and people that formed who everyone is around you.
Yeah.
Give them a second.
Yeah.
Hear them out. The least we can
let
do.
them take in the awe also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, people love the speeches.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like...
Fucking love a good speech,
Yeah.
dude.
Love a good speech. And I mean, realistically, some of these bands have never played in front of a crowd of 80,000 people.
Yeah.
Very
What
true.
a big deal that all must have been. Like, the energy must have been fucking insane.
Starting Line was the first act we actually caught.
Just gut me.
Because
Okay.
we got there a little bit late. However, the line was like around the outer edge of the festival, which is also where the stages were. So the bands we didn't get to see, we still got to like hear from the street, which was sort of cool. But the first act I actually saw inside the gates was Starting Line, and we got there towards like the end of their set. Next act we saw was Armor for Sleep.
Yeah.
And it was like The Truth About Heaven. This is the
I've
second
wanted to
reference
see them
that.
for so long.
The way that would mess me up.
Yeah. I love them.
Basis of that band.
Still?
I am in love with him
Yes.
to this day. I have since my youth. Still hot. Still having a
Heard it
great
here.
Hot.
time.
I feel like
Still
people,
hot.
people
You
get
heard it
hotter
here,
with time.
folks.
A lot of these band members.
Armor for Sleep, basis, you are hot.
Armor for Sleep, incredible energy. And it was that prime example of how excited the bands were. They were playing in like, they had a tent, which is where some of like the slightly harder-ish music was happening. Mm-hmm. And then some like other weird, like Mom Jeans played in the neon tent. Mom Jeans, listeners, not a band of my youth, a band of my now, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see them because it was like a tent. There was sort of like, there were no wings that they were off or that they were behind. And you could just see them like hyping each other up just off the stage, like getting ready, and like just the run out onto stage from them was...
They're talking to each other on Instagram stories or making fun of each other. It's like, I don't know, it's just like a good fucking feeling happening in this scene right now where it's like, hey, we're all still friends, and like it feels very much like the online communities that I found home in.
Yeah, I miss that.
This genre has something of a legacy of some toxic behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And to the best of my observation, like, that wasn't. Like, there was just a real in the air sense of like relief that like, we're here, we made it, and like community.
Yeah.
Just so beautiful. And then like so many clear backpacks full of Tylenol and Tums, and I was like,
That would be me.
I was gonna say that's literally
these are my people.
Yep.
yeah.
Like, I have heartburn from the chicken tenders.
And
Can I
so-
have one of those?
Yep.
Of course you
And
can.
I'm sure they would have given
They
it
would
to
have
you.
in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who
In a
are you
heartbeat.
here to
So
see?
nice.
If you had to choose between Firefly or We Were Young, which one would you choose?
Honestly, can I like sort of cheat and say like a combination of both?
Go.
Because I would like the sprawl of Firefly, the multiple days, the way it's laid out, the space, combined with the acts up, because they could have easily stretched this over multiple days.
Yeah.
And they absolutely
They did. It's just like then they
But
just
it's
like
the same bands
It's
every
the
day.
same except for
Yeah.
Avril who dropped.
Avril
Yeah.
dropped.
Avril
And Death
dropped.
Cab came on, which I'm kind of sad about. I would have liked
Yeah,
to
I
see
know you
Death
would have
Cab.
liked.
But like,
yeah.
if I could have a little bit of both in that way, I would like that. If I had to pick,
And I would say Firefly is starting because they had Taking Back Sunday. That was like a new kind of thing for them last year. They had Kenny Hoopla.
do the Killers count? Sort of.
Answer me this. Why did they name it When We Were Young? And they didn't invite the Killers, huh?
True. So true.
You know what we're all gonna fucking think.
Right. That's the first
know,
thing that
like,
came to my
Riddle me
head.
this: when we were young organizers, where were the fucking Killers?
Where were they? Mr. Brightside in Vegas? They are Vegas boys. Don't get me on this phone.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't get me started with Brandon fucking Flowers.
cannot get. Might have murdered a woman.
Might have murdered a woman.
Like strong possibility. Can this get us sued for libel?
If you know the lore, I've explained the lore of the Killers. If you haven't, check out that episode. It's one of them. Just go back. It's 11 episodes. Don't be lazy.
There's only like 10
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Why haven't you listened already?
Yeah.
Rude.
together.
Rude of you.
Anyway, a word
Dear
from our
listener.
sponsors.
Yeah.
Kim.
Oh, yeah, the sponsors in question. Me.
Fucking.
Why is Mr. Brightside played at Emo Night? Is that controversial?
Oh, fuck me.
Like,
Not this.
I don't know.
Not this
And
conversation.
this is like
Wow.
well, we could talk about it if you want to, but it was just funny, like thought that came to my head.
You know what? This is I'm gonna shelf this conversation
Okay.
because I'm gonna beat them off camera.
Get me out of here.
But here's the reason why, because I think you have a fucking point.
Yeah.
You do.
Okay.
You have a fucking
Yeah.
point. Because literally,
I'm just so sick of these emo night Brooklyn and LA like playlists. Like,
No
honestly,
other-
I'm sorry, but
literally
like,
no other Killers album song I would label as emo, and it's like, why is Mr. Brightside played here?
You said you didn't go to any of the shows that happened Saturday night, right? The
I did not go.
Yeah. Did you hear about any of them or?
I heard a lot about them.
Yeah.
I was also following them closely online because
Yeah.
I had to continuously talk my friend off the ledge of like, we're not going to
Yeah.
these. These are for them. Mm-hmm. We're going to the
That's
Rainforest
really nice of
Cafe
you.
and we're getting nachos. You've seen these bands before.
True.
So they were... I mean, first of all, shout out all of the bands that really rallied to pull this off and give their fans something.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases for free.
Oh yeah. I'm
Almost
pretty sure
all
they
of the
were.
shows were free. I think all of them were free, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of it was like...
And again, I'm so happy that you made the conscious decision not to go, because I've heard a lot of people like not
We're
to
just
not,
in the area, right?
that was just in the area, Vegas residents, which I'm kind of weird about it, but it's just like there's a bunch of people looking to get into shows, and then like other people are just taking your spot who had no
so shitty.
plans to come out
Yeah.
that night. I'm like, fuck, dude.
It's kind of fucked
And
up.
just like Vegas residents, like, why do you live there? I say this,
True.
and I have a dear friend who just lived there for 2 years, and I just have this thought: what
Vegas
are you doing there?
it's a weird place,
You
dude.
visit,
You
and then you go home.
no
hopefully.
one should live in Vegas.
No
one.
Not the point.
Not
the
the point.
shows were, if you got there early, I heard it was great.
Yeah.
But I mean, a few thousand people showed up to like a barbecue joint where All American Rejects played, and
Yeah.
like security was like turning, like the elder emos away. Like, you shall not pass. You
Yeah.
cannot come into this barbecue joint.
yeah.
I don't care if you're actually getting barbecue. It's too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
But some of the bands found like, what hotels they were staying in, and
Yeah.
like went to the hotel like manager and were like, can we play a set in your
Yeah.
lobby? And the hotels accommodated.
Yeah.
Like, Community really bounced back. The strip was fully unhinged that night, though.
I could only like
Kind of wish I was there, low-key.
Right?
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Like us saying we don't want to take up space, but
Right.
then also like we kind of wish we were there. Because I just would have been happy walking around and just seeing
Yeah.
what the fuck I saw. I think that's truly like I would have been in like the spectacle of other people fucking gathering. I'm like, oh fuck. Red jumpsuit apparatus did like something like you just said. I think
Yeah.
they just played like on the casino floor. Yeah, I would just be so happy to walk past that. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Like, just to be around all these other.
down in the dirt. And then,
I know. It was great though. I mean, it was really surreal because we were there. We got in on Thursday. I left on Tuesday, and so there were multiple days of like you could clock us.
Yeah.
You could see.
I wonder.
You could like.
Yeah.
More people dressed in like skinny jeans, all black, band tee, and there was definitely some performance to it. There was definitely like I don't actually dress.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm in emo drag, right?
Yeah.
But, like,
Yep.
it was incredible. I was like, if anything, there were 4 of us in high school. We sat together and we were made the fuck fun of.
Yes.
And look at us now, overtaking
Yep.
a city.
I was the weird kid table, dude.
We're so
Were you
powerful.
weird kid?
Do you look at me? Like,
Yeah.
I was definitely part of
Paint a
the
picture
weird
at home.
Weird kid in bands, like, artsy drama club, like,
You're in
I
band?
was in band.
Why is this the first time this has
yeah.
ever come up on the pod? You were in fucking anyway.
I was a band kid. Yep.
Jesus.
Musically inclined.
What did you play?
I played the flute from 6th grade
flute?
to no, because that's
The
what
emo Lizzo over here.
yeah, pretty much.
There's no emo flute in any.
No,
band.
I will make the emo flute happen.
We could make that happen.
We
down.
can talk to Yellow Card about like replacing the violin, dude.
Yeah.
I honestly think
I'm here
this
for
is.
that.
I mean, we should stop giving free ideas to bands, and we should incorporate this into the sad buffet.
our own
Sad
yeah,
buffet.
our own sad buffet.
Yeah.
Our new band name.
I kind of like that.
coming
Our
soon.
own sad buffet even better as like a.
A title.
Yeah. We can workshop
Yeah,
it.
we
got
definitely.
this.
Yeah, both ideas I really like. But there was other like shows that happened that night.
Other shows.
Bring Me the Horizon,
Yeah.
which I heard was like amazing. There was that one show with Census Fail, Anthony Green Thursday. That's where I probably would have been.
Yeah.
And then I know Hawthorne Heights did a show too, but
Yeah.
Armor for Sleep played with them.
The Wonder Years are getting another shout out, but they planned
Yeah.
something too.
that was cute.
That was cute. I forget.
I think it was a smaller one too.
Yeah. you know, like as I'm hearing all of this, and again, I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but it's truly just how special our community is, because there's been plenty of festivals canceled in Vegas before, and yeah, maybe they probably like try to accommodate those fans who are disappointed.
Yeah.
But this is truly the first time I have heard like,
Bands
hey,
really trying to do that.
again, lobby shows, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Census Fails actually posted a thing on Twitter where like, hey, like show proof of your receipt of day one when we were young, and you know you can enter in for free tickets for our tour.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's incredible.
like,
Yeah.
now, like this is right
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy.
Everyone was again joking about when we were Young Fest. They're like, "Oh, I can't wait for this documentary, Hulu, whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah, I am in the same boat because I want to see the people that actually fucking pulled this off, because
Exactly.
I had no faith in it. I started working with these music guys for real job, and they told me it was going to be a fucking disaster. I have
like
like
hearing that from professionals.
yeah,
you know
from
what I
people who
mean?
have been in this
Yeah.
industry.
Which is
And-
so weird because
yeah.
I under like the organizers
Yeah.
are big names in like booking
Yeah, so
venues that like these bands play. Like it's why they were all so quick to say yes, because it's like, oh, it's the two of you.
Yeah.
I'm curious where that this impulse, like I hope this fails. Like where is that?
Yeah, where did that
coming
come from? Yeah.
Why
I thought that was
wouldn't you
because
wanna
we were bitter.
celebrate this?
Because I couldn't be there. That's exactly where I was coming from. I wanted to be there, whether or not it was a disaster, and I wouldn't have cared if it was a disaster. I would have cared a little bit if it was like a disaster, but the bar was so low. I just wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, and I think a lot of people need to just be, again, when I heard how happy you were there, I let it drop and just felt the FOMO like a normal human.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I was
I
happy
feel like I'm gloating
you're literally
and like bragging.
you came
like,
on the
it was-
podcast to do this.
It was great.
No, this
Yeah.
is why we
I
want you
just
here.
feel like I'm doing violence
Well-
to the two of you.
There was one or maybe two bad acts you saw, and I
Yeah,
do
let's
want you
hear
to,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So there was some allusion earlier that I am a Bright Eyes fan, and let me say yes, I am a fan of Bright Eyes studio recordings of their music. I love Connor Oberst. You could say I have a kinship. We share a name. Ain't many Connors out there that I know of. I had a chance to see Bright Eyes play with Lucy Dacus and Waxahachie like 2 years ago
was
or something
impression.
like that. And Connor was like visibly impaired. And like I go to shows. I'm used to the artist like, getting a little stage fright or something. And it was like we were joking then because it was like, oh, he's trash. But he was doing a great job.
And I think it's important to note too, this was like the first, some of the first shows back.
Post-COVID, yeah.
Yeah,
This
so-
was that like first weekend.
So I think a lot of us were like, he is just extra wacky because of the excitement of this
Yeah.
being the first show. And also we were getting Omicron, so it was like, this shit might close down.
Yeah.
That was the air.
Gotta
it was
get
like,
it in. Gotta get it in.
Go hard or go
A
home.
little more forgiving.
Yeah.
By the time Fridays went on, it was about, I want to say it was maybe 8:30ish, give or take. The sun was down by this point. Sundown, desert, by the way, very cold.
Yes.
Underprepared for that. If you're going next year, bring something warm. Manchester Orchestra, we were walking over from, and we got there, and we really only stayed for a few minutes because it was like that joking energy we had when we saw Bright Eyes play Jen of like, wow, he's drunk, was like, wow, he's drunk.
Yeah.
Like it was sad.
Yeah.
It was sad to watch. And I know that there's been a lot of conversation lately about some of Bright Eyes' conduct at their shows. There was an incident
he just
somewhere
walked out.
in like the Midwest. It was like Texas or Missouri or somewhere over there, where after 2 songs he
Yeah.
walked out. I mean, it was, there's some recordings of Lover out there, and it was not a great performance. And it was sort of heartbreaking because it's like, I mean, this is a community that is especially susceptible to addiction and substance use disorders, that is especially susceptible to mental health concerns. And there's this, I couldn't help but think if all of these bands who are so happy to see each other and be performing with each other, like, yeah, I've cared about people before who have a troubling history with substances, and it's exhausting and it's painful and it's grueling to watch. And as a fan, I felt all of those things. And I just kept thinking about like his band
Yeah.
and like his colleagues in this profession, like how this must feel for them, because it was bad. It was really bad. Of all the sets I caught, he was the only one who had to cut a song because of like time constraints. And it's like, so what, Bright Eyes has been on the scene since the early 2000s.
You would argue that they were there,
90s
like they're
perhaps?
on the cusp of like the Sunny Day Real Estate, like like they're supposed to be
That's the
like
time period, yeah.
they influenced a lot of the bands
Yeah.
that are surrounding.
This is a professional who knows how to manage set time.
Yeah.
Like you've been doing this
Yeah.
for a long time. Like
Yeah.
you know. So there was sort of a subtext of like, we gotta cut a song, like, of like, oh, that's how. I'm
It
like,
was a mess.
he was.
It was a mess. I actually had talked about Connor, me and Kim have at least, on earlier pods, and it's, you know, echoing the same thing. It's just like, it feels like not related to emo, but, you know, if you grew up in the early 2000s, you fucking saw everything that happened with Amy Winehouse, and it's just almost like a reflection of it, what was in our own scene. And it's, you know, we saw her when she was good. We saw her when she was fucking really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see what a drug can do to someone and take away, like, you know, it's just, it's, you know, drug, alcohol, you know, that sucks. I really, you know, we all hope that Connor has the support he fucking needs.
Yeah.
Or I think, you know, who's to say what's happening behind the scenes, but I hope something happens because, you know, we just want him to be okay. And I think that's okay to say, so.
I agree.
Was there any other, you know,
like notable moments?
It's so funny because it was the one set that we were probably like not like, oh my god, we have to go see this, but it was like, it felt like we were obligated to. All American Rejects, who sadly were on at the same time as Avril, so I was unable to catch Avril.
That's a rough call.
Yeah,
that was
that's
rough,
hard...
but it was like, but this is, he said a line at one point when he was, you know, like, you're gonna know the words to every song in this damn set, whether you like it or not. And it was so true. And like, that was sort of, there was sort
you
of
haven't thought of a goddamn All-American Rejects song in...
literally have not.
Swing.
Swing, Dirty Little Secret have not been out of my brain for well over a decade. Every word
but you remembered
rushing
all of
back
it.
to me. Like instantly re-traumatized by my middle school grief, singing and jumping to every single song.
Yeah, Panic wasn't there, right? No, we would have heard Panic.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
there.
would have.
I feel like they're holding off on that invite until Brandon
like gets his shit together. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
You and Ryan need to talk it out, bruh. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
and put the exclamation point.
Did they drop it?
Hasn't it been gone for a while?
I think it's still there.
I feel like they got rid of it.
Oh my fucking god.
Fact check.
Did they get rid of the exclamation point and Panic?
What? I think it's just Panic.
We're panicking in the fucking sound booth. It's not a sound booth. You probably can hear everything. No, they still got the exclamation mark.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Yeah.
They got rid of it. Google Panic at the Disco gets rid of the exclamation point. I swear to God. Maybe they put it back. There was a brief period where they got rid of it.
Maybe for like just attention grabbing a news story
it was
or something.
Probably
you know
so
what I mean? Like I've seen
iPod would stop fucking up your little like system if you had it or not. I got 10 Panic at the Discos. Like it's Panic at the Disco with exclamation mark.
one without with an extra
No
space.
space.
Like all one word.
Did you dream this?
No.
Fever dream.
A fever you can't sweat out?
What other band has punctuation? Don't do that. Has punctuation in the middle of the name. In January of 2008, the band unveiled a new logo and dropped the exclamation point from the group's name, becoming Panic at the Disco. Folks who are not reading what I'm reading, there's no exclamation point because they changed their name. That was only from 2008 to 2009, though.
So we had an era
without the exclamation point.
Maybe legally? Maybe Ryan was trying to do something there. Where
Yeah,
it's
because I was
that's around the
that time period where
oof. He's like, fuck it, I'll start my own band.
Yeah.
Call it Panic with no exclamation mark at the disco. Oh, Brendan, you're
just an average Panic. Nothing to worry about here, folks.
The way I know, and I feel like I've said it on the pod, the way I know if there was any chance to hear a Fever You Can't Sweat Out live.
like a reunion tour or something.
Like I want the first 2 Panic albums. I would and New Perspective just as like an encore.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I got emotional to New Perspective this week.
Thank you, Connor, for going over When We Were Young Fest with us, because big insight.
It was incredible, and I got to feel the way I did. This is going to be so corny.
It's okay.
When I was young.
Oh,
it was,
and that was the point of it. And it was like
they did their job.
Like they did their job.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of joy about the fact of like we got to embrace this thing that was so important to us in our youth, but like now with all of the wisdom and experience and like pain and joy of like our adulthood, and that was really special to get to do in like in a community of people like me.
Exactly. Fellow emos.
For all the fellow emos. Just to quickly end with When We Were Young Fest. I didn't find the guys' names, but I do know it was a Live Nation event, which on the podcast, we've talked about Astroworld. So, listen, I don't know what was different this time around, but I'm very happy it fucking was.
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
yeah.
I did see that online on TikTok back when everyone was kind of like speculating like, oh, this is going to be a shit show because like A, B, and C, and that was one of the reasons why people thought it was not going to work out. So.
And that was, gotta shout out the artists. Anytime someone went down in that crowd,
Yeah.
What do you do?
Good shit.
You lift them
stop
up.
the music,
Pick them up.
Pick them up.
pick them up.
And that's what the scene was always meant to be, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you see someone
safety.
down, well, yes, but I'm just saying in general,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were the weird kids.
You extend your hand. Mm-hmm. Punk is fucking solidarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one of us is down, you stop and lift them up. Yeah.
For all the new people going to shows. I mean, that's another topic we're going to cover later on today, but
Yeah. Just a mantra. Just
we'll get there.
emotionally, fucking on the actual ground, lift them up, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No need to fight it, somebody over getting to the front of the barricade because,
All the things.
yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, on the topic of Paramore, Hayley and Taylor
Yes.
finally dating.
We love the tea.
Yeah.
Happy, it looks like.
Yeah,
I
she
think
does look really
some of the happiest I've seen her. Taylor York is the bassist
Yeah.
of Paramore. If you didn't know that, they've been together since the beginning.
Dating for how long at this point?
God, I don't know.
They
off the top
kept
of my
they
head.
kept it on the down low for a while.
Yeah.
And then recently they announced them dating. Yeah.
How would you feel about dating someone who you were in a band with?
I don't know, that's kind of tough. Like I always think of like projects I've worked on in the past and just content creation in general for me, and I just can't really, I feel like I wouldn't want to fuck anything up, especially like as big as Paramore is, like, but
It is crazy because, all right, this might be emo adjacent, but it's queer as fuck. So whatever, queer segment. I just fully started diving into a band called Muna, which I feel like it's probably dumb to say because they seem like they're getting real big, and I feel like I'm the last one at the party at this point. Kind of like a Phoebe Bridgers kind of feel that I was like, oh, everyone else is a Phoebe Bridgers fan,
Right.
And where the fuck was I?
yeah.
Muna, their lead singer and I believe their guitar, one of the strings, there's two.
One of the strings,
One of the strings, I forget. But they were in a relationship. It didn't work out.
But they're still playing
together.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, I mean, No Doubt has done
Yeah.
it. So, I mean,
Exactly.
to detriment there, but then also there was a reunion. So,
Yeah. They did do that.
I guess I don't know. I don't know, but it
depends
looks
on-
beautiful. Like we were talking a little bit before the pod about like how Hayley was just done so wrong by Chad from fucking Newfound Glory.
Yeah.
And I fucking love Newfound Glory, but there's like a
How do you
stomach.
cheat on Haley Williams?
Fucking
but
first off
there's
that-
no hope for us. No.
no hope for us, but also like not for nothing. Newfound Glory guys, y'all ain't cute.
Yeah, like,
Like,
I love them, but yeah, they're not.
Whatever. I love those guys.
If you're gonna date out of your league, don't fuck it up.
Exactly. Say it louder for the people in the back.
If you're gonna
Like,
date out of your league, don't fuck it up.
Like dead ass, like literally, Newfound Glory couldn't give the speech that Haley gave.
Never,
And-
ever. And
it would
they're-
not. No one would fucking. I'm just like, what do you mean? You fucked up. You fucked the bag up. Now you're just. Whatever. So that's happening in Haley's life. We are very happy for you, Haley. If you ever listen to us, come on the pod.
Right?
Come talk to us about love.
Yeah, I love Haley's emo podcast that
my
just
God.
recently ended. I
Oh
believe.
my God, you're giving us a chance.
Yeah.
Because bitch, I love you, Haley, but fucking, we said, let's do our pod, and then Haley was like, hey, I'm also going to be doing
Yeah,
an emo
that's
pod. I was like,
pretty
it's
much what
over.
happened.
It's like, what were we even trying to
Yeah,
do?
like, you know what? Like, I give up. Like, cancel the whole fucking podcast. Like,
I remember where I was.
Yeah.
Just being like, fuck.
yeah, like, she's doing it. Like, what's the point?
No,
we stop.
Whatever. For our
No,
10
it's funny.
listeners.
Right? All 10 of you. I love you.
But yeah, what's going on in your world, Kim?
Yeah, in the metal scene. So, you guys might have heard of As I Lay Dying at some
Yeah,
point.
what's
Yeah, I really liked them like back in the day. But 6 years ago, Tim Lambesis, their vocalist, went to prison in 2014 for hiring a hitman to kill his wife. He did not succeed, in case you were wondering.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and, he was put into prison again, only 6 years. And then now there's this recent interview that's come up on my radar that he's just like, I was on the wrong path, and like, just
Is Jesus involved?
you're hired a hitman to kill your wife. Like, I feel like that's been like I've seen this pattern.
I've seen this happen
like
before.
so
Where have
many times.
Why do this happened recently with someone else?
Just the tension between like otherness and also violence against women that exists.
What is the market of
this
being
genre is fucking unhinged.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy, right? This has happened a few times in this industry,
Yeah.
right?
Also, like, in my brain, like, hitmen aren't real?
Yeah.
Is that just because we're too poor to afford them that, like, I don't know where
Like, I don't know.
get one?
Right.
Is
Like,
this like
Hitman Craigslist?
Yeah, I'm really interested in like how do you become a hitman? Like what is like are you born into it kind of like thing? Like kind of like
A guild of hitmen?
like Black Widow kind of style of like
Well, that's dark.
yikes.
That's fine, but I see your point.
Yeah,
Right,
you know
like
what
I
I
get
mean?
it.
Where do they come from?
If there's any hitmen, let's
Yeah, who wants to be interviewed?
You can be our dirty little secret.
Yeah. It's right.
Ooh.
I don't think anything Jesus-y was involved. I'm not gonna quote the whole,
Last
thing,
quote
but
from a guy who tried to kill his wife.
yeah, he's just
I support it.
going off. I don't really know how to describe it. I lost myself. I lost my way, and I sat there in a cell, being like, "How did I become this person?"
It's just such a wild concept to get a hitman to kill your wife. Just
Divorce
leave.
exists.
Right?
You could also just disappear.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I'd rather you
Sorry,
just
Steve.
disappear.
Oh God, we're out of milk. Let me run to the store and then
And
dip.
just don't come back. That's it.
I'd rather have that in alive than you. Like, how bad could it have been? Is it just toxic masculinity? It's just,
It definitely. Is,
I mean,
yeah.
like, duh, but like, in a way of just like, if I can't have you, no one can.
And don't be like,
Don't
be a
do
little
that, dog.
bitch. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Don't murder your
Yeah.
wives, please. Please.
Please don't.
Nobody do that.
He goes on to say, "I can't
Cut that.
talk."
Yeah, yes, you're running for office one day. But trust me, cross me again. And
Right? Watch out. He goes on to say, "I can't talk about, vaguely speaking, any father who loses his children. There's a burning feeling of just like, I'll do anything to fix this or make this right or to maintain this relationship. But just because you feel like you'd be willing to do anything to maintain what matters, blah, blah, blah," talking about his kids. At the end of this, he goes, "And there's really no defense or way to take away what I did other than that. Thankfully, there was no true physical harm of any kind." Like, that makes it okay.
like,
you know what I mean?
Dead ass tried, guy.
And I've seen people defend this man since, well, I think
Since it happened?
Yeah, 2014 he admitted to, being guilty. 2013 is when it happened. But I've seen people defend him throughout the years, and you can just get away with that and go back to making all the money you make and make music again. And
Yeah.
it's just a shame, really.
I just also, like, harm isn't purely physical. It's called
not.
trauma, my
Exactly.
guy.
Like, I'm sure she's fucked up for
Your
life.
ex-wife is, like, gonna be, like, forever looking over her shoulder, like,
Yeah.
is this the hitman?
Oh my
I
God.
can't deal with that.
Yeah.
Every new face, literally,
Yeah. I'm paranoid that, like, my supervisor is, like, seeing my activity on Microsoft Teams. This person has to look over their shoulder for higher
life.
assassins.
Yeah.
And he just, puts it to him being in a dark place. And, I think, whenever these things come up, there's plenty of people who were in a dark place.
And didn't resort to
didn't
hiring a
resort-
hitman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's not how you take accountability.
Yeah, not at
and
all.
make amends.
Yeah.
Like, you can contribute, but, like, that doesn't void you of responsibility
Not at all.
or to be held accountable for your actions.
Yeah, no. It's
Crazy.
fucked.
Crazy
Yeah.
fuck. It happens too much, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait, this just happened. It happens too much, like Nick Cannon's kids happen too much.
Oh, that's another
Number
fun topic.
11, welcome to the world.
Number 11.
Dead.
Fucking
God.
nuts.
We got Fall Out Boy Ticketmaster leak. I saw a tweet about this.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to store this away for later.
Yeah.
And I didn't come
our,
back to it.
Our minds.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, we just had a leak.
yeah, their tour dates and like tickets and everything got leaked and they took it away real quick. But I guess it's pretty much confirmed that Fall Out Boy
current,
is
yeah.
coming out with new music next year.
Ah, fuck.
But the guitarist, one of the guitarists was saying that he's trying to go back into their old sound.
Okay.
So we're gonna see how
here's
this
the thing.
goes.
Here's what they could do.
Yeah.
Kim, a radical idea. And this is, boys, I love you. This is like not really slander, but do you know how much money you guys would make if you just did first 2 albums? Fucking first
all I
3
need.
albums.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I like the third one.
yeah, the third album's great. I'm sorry. And Infinity on High, fucking Under the Cork Tree, and
Take This to Your Grave.
Yeah, Take This to
I was
Your
just
Grave.
going off about Take This to Your Grave the other day.
You don't even need
Yeah.
to create anything new. I know that might be killing an artistry in you. just think about the money for
Yeah, just
Think about
take
the
my money.
fans.
Yeah, the fans.
Like, Patrick, we love you.
We do.
Everyone else, we love you. Pete Wentz, first dick pic I ever saw, and now I'm gay. That's how it happens.
Biracial legend right there.
It's what happens. Don't
Also-
Google the picture. It could
Don't.
happen to you.
Christ.
Also, it's like an invasion of privacy.
Yeah,
Don't look at the
don't
photo.
just don't.
But
I mean,
if
didn't
you
he
caught it
post
back
it?
in 2006, I think he sent it to someone and they leaked
Yeah,
it.
that's
Damn.
exactly what happened.
Damn. Not
Yeah,
me
and
not
it's
knowing the
like-
history of a dick pic.
It's
Yeah.
like, and it's real, like, if memory serves, it's like Motorola perhaps the first dick pic of modern history.
Yeah.
It should be hung in a
circulation.
museum.
Well, he sure ain't hung in a museum.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Any fucking way. Here's the thing. The music could be good. So if it's good, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But the one time I saw Fall Out Boy, fucking Bamboozled, like 2008,
Yeah.
prime time to see them. I almost
Yeah.
died in that crowd, and I would have been happy about it.
Yeah, I saw them once at during their
No, I
like
don't know.
Phoenix era, which but they did play a lot of old stuff.
That's good.
They played like, you know, of course, Sugar We're Going Down, Grand F Autumn, you know, a lot of old stuff too. So I was very excited to see them.
Did you hear Saturday? They always do Saturday.
I think they did play Saturday. This was like a really long time
Yeah.
ago, so I'm trying to think.
I think,
I think they did.
I think it's a tradition because me and Pete, and then Pete like gets on and he screams, and
Yeah,
Pete always needs to
Yep.
scream.
You gotta scream. Yeah.
Like he doesn't care how poppy they become. He's like he's got one
Yeah.
song of screaming.
Exactly.
I'm gonna scream and you're
Yeah.
gonna be on board.
Right. So back on the topic of like concert etiquette.
Oh,
So Pierce the Veil at Prevail tour. I've been seeing a lot.
I've been seeing a lot of TikToks.
Yeah, a lot of people our age talking about the whole experience of at different venues. Different, you know,
Yeah.
they'll have videos of everyone leaving after Pierce the Veil, and there's the argument that they bought their ticket so they could do whatever they want. But you know, there's also the argument of like, why not stick around for a headliner and see the new band? What's
Hear
different
you.
about this
Yeah.
in particular though is
it
because
can't be
of
everyone's work night.
yeah, well, that too. But it's like the whole thing of like Pierce the Veil, other bands also, but blowing up on TikTok, and everyone just pretty much everyone's like
There for the TikTok.
they're there
songs.
for the King for a day, and
Yeah.
then they head out and take away this spot, and then also the whole topic of ticket prices going up and people scalping tickets.
Do I lose my emo card if I don't know what King for Today sounds like?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite song by them.
Okay.
Like it was iconic when it first came out.
Yeah.
Because Kellen Quinn and Vic
Yeah,
Fuentes, the
I knew
two
she
very
was-
high
yeah,
pitched,
yeah.
like hard eyes boys of that time, and it was great. It was a fun time. And then he actually did King for a Day at when we were young. I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Yeah, and Kellen came on for that. So.
Magic.
Yeah,
Magic
good
at the
times.
emo fest.
Yeah. So
Magic.
Steve Aoki
Yeah. See, he
came
does
on
that.
stage for a TBS song.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
They did.
That's
yeah.
really crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I saw the photos, but yeah, quickly getting back to the etiquette though of fucking fans leaving venues in droves, bro. Why? Like, first off, you're just losing. You could discover a really cool band. Like, I've discovered some great bands.
My friend that I went to
yeah,
shows with, like,
by just staying.
we like not even like we went for like a headliner and we saw like we'll get there early and saw
You're doing
like
such a disservice to yourself
yeah,
by
like,
leaving.
you're really
and, like,
fucking up. Like,
yeah, like.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands that I just found out of the blue, like nothing online, like just being there, was Let Live.
Yeah.
And they were like one of my like favorite bands. Like still are. Like they're not around anymore, R.I.P. But no one died, just
Yeah.
the band is not together.
I feel like this has
yeah.
happened twice recently to me. Most of them happen when I'm with Connor. Because again, we do like, well, I was going to say not necessarily emo, but Lucy Darkest. Like, I didn't know anything. And I fell and watch a hot, but like, again, not really emo adjacent there. Just sad girl music. But
Sad girls.
we are sad girls.
Yeah.
They were also talking about just the aggressiveness of some of the younger fans. And, as we touched on, like you experienced some of that.
I don't know how I would deal with a kid in a pit. I'm going to be dead ass.
I'm willing to extend like a little bit of bandwidth to like, I get it. Y'all have been locked indoors for multiple years.
Right.
You came up like the age you would start going to shows and like get sort of like acculturated into the scene.
Yeah.
Like there were no shows. So
Right.
I'll give you a few months to catch up, but like get your act together.
Exactly. Like people like
You make this dangerous.
Yeah.
exactly.
When you behave that way.
Yeah.
100%. I know we talked about it a little bit like last episode too,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just figured I'd bring this particular show up.
Yeah, it's
because
wild.
been,
Like, I've been meaning to share like the TikToks on our social, so it'll be up at some point, but it's weird and it can't feel good for I Prevail. Like, it's just sad for a scene that advocates for mental health so much. It's like, what are you doing? Like, how does it feel that half the venue just cleared out?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But
shout outs to those two bands though, because they are friends and want them to do well.
exactly. Yeah.
Quickly though, on the topic of like just shit that's happening in the scene, Academy is back, and it would appear Say Anything is back. So Say Anything is important to all three of us.
Oh yeah, and
Academy is all three of us.
I saw William Beckett do his solo stuff, like I think maybe like 2013 or something. I don't know. Yeah, I've
at the Loft.
No, this was in the city.
Got it.
But yeah, I'm huge fans of them both, and it's crazy just to see all these bands from my childhood come back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just like, it kind of snuck up on me too. I just was like, Adjacent Festival was announced, and I looked at it. I was like, is that the fucking Academy is?
Yeah.
And then I saw Sincere Engineer say something about it, and I was like, is that fucking... No, it was Spanish Love Songs. Say Anything announced their return on the same day Blink announced their tour, so I got swept
Great timing, yeah.
Swept under the...
Yeah.
It would happen to Max Bemis. It really would. It really would.
Poor Sweet Max.
But yeah, so we're excited to see what happens there.
Here I am, laid down at the end of my rope, wishing I had not been born.
I think we're at the end, guys. So
This was a solid episode.
Solid
and
episode.
Thanks again for being here. We really
loved
appreciate
being
it.
here.
yeah, we loved you being here.
Yeah.
So thank you for making us feel young. But before we go, we got some shout outs, like, we said we would.
The usual, yeah.
The usual.
I found this band recently, if I'm saying this correctly, the Hers Collective, and they released a single, We're Still Here. The whole album is out on March 24th, so we got a couple months till that's out. And honorable mentions on the album, Frank Iero, who's that, right? We don't talk about that enough. Not
clearly. Him literally looking like a Frank on tour this year.
As soon as I walked in the door, Jenny's like, you look like a little Frank. And I'm like, thanks.
Also, they should wear little bat wings all the time.
Oh yeah.
So you look like Frank, who is supposed to be a child wearing bat wings all the time.
I'm here for this. We also got Jeff from Thursday, Marissa from Screaming Females, and a bunch of other awesome people. Yeah. So just a
fucking super groups in this scene now.
Broken social scene, but make it emo.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go check it out when it's out. Yeah, lots of good people on that album.
Hell yeah. I don't really have a lot of words to say about my shout out, because honestly, I discovered them by a TikTok that Kim sent me about Pete Wentz at a fucking Denny's. There was a show at a fucking Denny's,
right,
and
we weren't there.
And we weren't there.
Yeah.
And Pete Wentz is crowd surfing in a fucking Denny's.
What year is it?
Fucking no. The show he was at, you're asking? Games We Play. I'm gonna shout out their song "Get a Fucking Job" because it feels just talking about what it feels like when you can't hold down a 9-to-5 and you want to pursue your little arts and crafts career, or
us. Yeah, pretty much.
It's good, pop punky. If you're listening to us, I know you're gonna like this one, so get him before he's a hot ticket, because I can see that happening. Signed by Fueled by Ramen, probably if Pete was there. Yeah, signed by Fueled.
You should get a fucking job. I don't wanna be like you, I wanna sing my songs. Keep it going all night long. I don't wanna stop.
And Connor, as our first guest, we want to extend a rec from you if you have one.
Ooh, okay, I have two.
Okay. Came prepared.
Anthony Green doing the most lately.
We're gonna have an
all
Anthony
over
Green
the place.
episode.
Gonna have an Anthony Green episode, I'm told, by the producers I'm sitting with. An oldie but a goodie. Plays pretty for baby from his time with Zoloft the Rock and Roll Destroyer.
Yes.
It slaps. It's happy.
Yes.
It's a little poppy. It's a little sad. It gets you moving. Anthony Green at his best. And because I am who I am, second rec, if you're like a Midwest emo-y kind of person, you like a little folk, a little twang, some like alt country, just some sadness and some feelings. My number one band, Pine Grove. Give them a listen. Old friends may make you cry. That's all I've got.
Yeah, we'll have that playlist for you guys when this episode goes up.
Keep going over it over and over. My steps iterate my shame. How come every outcome's such a come down? Lately afternoon with the shades drawn down.
All right, yeah, that's it for us today. And again, shout out to Connor for being on the episode. And oh yeah, anytime.
Like, Connor is a X-Men comic book guy.
Gigantic. It's concerning.
He runs a Twitter account.
I do. If you want to hear me talk about comics, the intersection of queer and liberation politics, and one author's really fucking long run on the Uncanny X-Men, you can find me for now on Twitter at Connor Reads X-Men. Who knows if I'll still be there in a week? The place has gone to hell. That's it. Look for me there. We can touch base.
Cool. Yeah. We'll link that in bios and stuff like that.
We now have TikTok at A Goddamn Podcast. We also have Twitter at A Goddamn Podcast. Also Instagram at A Goddamn Podcast.
I can't believe we cornered a market of all of it.
We're doing it. We're doing the damn thing. But go follow us, and we'll try to update you guys with future podcast news. And as always,
we'll carry on.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.